Good morning, 4th and 5th grade, and welcome to your music lesson for Thursday, October 8th. All right, so today, I hope you guys have gotten this sheet either in your packets or printed it out, because I'm going to put it on Google Classroom for you all. Today we are learning about how we write down music, on a staff. That's what this is right here. See all these fancy lines? So what we're going to be learning about today is this, how the keyboard has letters on it, how each note is like a letter in the alphabet, and then how it's written on the staff with this specific symbol right here. Does anybody know what this is called? This symbol here is called a treble clef, and it tells you what the different lines, these are all the lines on here, and what all the spaces mean. Because for each line and each space, there is a letter assigned to each line and each space, and that letter represents a note, right? So some of you may know, a lot of you may know, that on a keyboard, go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? And it keeps going round and round, going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay? So let me show you on the actual keyboard. Hold for a sec. So right here we have middle C, and then we have D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So on your paper, first, of course, make sure you put your name on here. And the first question that we come up with is, what does a treble clef look like? And I spelled that wrong. Should be treble. I'm sorry about that. I always misspell it. So earlier I told you guys that this right there is what a treble clef looks like. So do your best to go over here and draw a treble clef. Okay? Let's see if I can draw it for you one more time on here. So you kind of do a swirl, you go up, down, boop, like that. It's okay if your treble clef doesn't look amazing. I've had a lot of practice writing treble clefs. So on here, I was telling you guys about lines and spaces, right? So what do I mean by that, right? So on the staff, these special lines, it's called the staff, and since we're in treble clef tells us that different lines and different spaces have different letters or notes assigned to them. So on here, these notes are written on what? The lines or the spaces? What do you guys think? Spaces. So here, above this one, I want you to write spaces. And then these ones here, do you guys see? What are those written on? Lines or spaces? Lines. So, do you see how the spaces is the area between the lines, and the lines are like this. There are 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you can also write notes outside of the lines and spaces, but we won't get too far into that until we get down to here, okay? But on our spaces, the first space, when you're in treble clef, that note is F, okay? Now, on the staff, it just goes up as if you were in the alphabet, as if you were reading the alphabet, but on a piece of music. So if this is F, the next line here is G, and so the next space is A. Okay? So we kind of skip a letter to get to the different spaces because it goes in order. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Okay? So here, A is this space, this line is B, but we're not going to write that because we're just focusing on the spaces. So this space is C, and that space is E. Okay, so what does that look like? That spells the word face. And that is a good way to remember that in the spaces, the notes are F, A, C, E. So on here, how do you remember spaces? It's F, A, C, E. Okay? Good, good. All right. So now, if we go to lines in the alphabet, think about this. If you go, what is the letter that comes before F? That is the one that's going to be on this line. Now that we're on lines here. On this line is E. All right. And then E, the space is F, so the next line is G. The next space is A, so the next line is B. This space is C, so the next line is D. That space is E, so the next line is F. So the lines go E, G, B, D, F. That does not spell a word, but in music, we have an acronym for remembering E, G, B, D, F. And that is, I want you to write it down here. You're going to write a big E, a big G, B, D, F. Does anybody know it? Say it before me, even though I'm not there. Say it before me if you know it. It is every good boy deserves fudge. Woohoo! Or some people likes does fine. So you can pick whichever one that you like best to be able to remember it. But if you get in your head, every good boy deserves fudge, or every good boy does fine, you know that it's E, G, B, D, F for the lines. Now, let's see if we combine it. So we know that this space is F, right? I've written a scale here. Actually, it goes pretty high. And I want you guys to keep on writing it without me, but I'm going to give you the first 8 notes, okay? So if we go down, we know this line is E because it's the first line, and the first line is E. Now, these two we didn't go over yet, but if you keep going backwards in the alphabet, E before E is D, and then before D is C. See what I mean? How they're written outside of the lines and spaces, outside of lines and spaces, but you can see how they still go along with the lines and spaces that are in there. So we have C, D, E, F. This should be pretty easy from here on out because it goes F and then, yes, G. And then the thing about music writing is that we don't have a letter H. We don't have H or I or J. Once you get to G, that's the amount of notes that there are in the alphabet for the musical alphabet. So you go back around to the beginning, which is A. I should have explained that earlier, but it's okay. Now you see. We know that the third, every good boy, that's B. After B comes C. Now, I didn't give you a lot to do at the end, but I want you all to fill all of this out, just like I have, and post a picture of it. That's how you get full credit for this assignment. And I want you to figure out what these last 3 notes are, which you should be able to find them out from what we've written here. So, let me play really quick for you what we have written here and here, okay? All right, so first, I'm going to play F-A-C-E. You ready? Those are the space notes. And now I'm going to play E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. Let's see if I can get it all together. Kind of sounds funky, huh? But do you kind of see how they switch back and forth? So these are the lines and these are the spaces. Lines, spaces. Fascinating, right? And now, I'll play for you what's on here. So we start C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Those are the last three notes, but I'm not going to tell you because you're going to figure them out. Alrighty? Alright, good luck to you guys and have a great rest of your Thursday.